Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for next week's 10 days. In today's video, this will take us to the middle of July, so day 10 is the 15th of July. It's turning hotter again, so it cooled down a little bit yesterday across the country. It's still quite cool up across Scotland today, quite refreshing up there. But the heat is building again down in the south, and this will be the trend over the next few days as heat spreads northwards. It's going to become increasingly hot over the weekend to the start of next week. Then, early next week, might see the temperature sliding down a bit again, before perhaps picking up again towards the second half of next week. So a little bit up and down with temperature, but overall remaining very warm to hot. Pretty much throughout, and also very dry. High pressure is going to be dominating really for the next 10 days. There could be some thunderstorms down in the south this afternoon, but they'll be very isolated. Most places will miss some. If you don't get any rain today, then chances are you will be dry for the next 10 days at least. So really dry and hot conditions continuing through to the middle of July is the message, I think, from models today. That suggestion of a thundery breakdown and then perhaps a more unsettled spell is still there in some of the model output, but it's still at sort of day 9, 10. It's not getting any closer, and as long as this continues to be the case, as long as we continue to see any breakdown getting pushed back, then it never gets into the reliable time frame, if you see what I mean. So you do have to stay very cautious about the chance of any particular breakdown or thundery interlude coming up. I'll tweet you through everything that's going on very shortly. Just going to give a shout out to our latest patron. So Darren Lewis has become the latest patron for Gaz Weathervids. Big thank you to Darren for becoming our latest patron. If you'd like to become a patron for Gaz Weathervids, then all you have to do is come to our Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, and then you can donate a monthly donation to Gaz Weathervids, any amount you like, from $1 a month upwards, and that's how you become a patron for Gaz Weathervids. And if you become a patron or a donor through PayPal, and I'll talk you through that at the end of the video, you will get a shout out in the videos if you want one. You'll get a thank you and a mention in the videos. A few people have decided they want to remain anonymous, so that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to get a mention in the videos, you don't have to have one. Just drop a note into us when you give your donation, and that will tell us that you don't want to be mentioned in the videos. But otherwise, you will get a mention in vids, and a big thank you to Darren for becoming the latest patron of Gaz. We've got 18 patrons now, so big thank you to all of our patrons and our donors for Gaz. It's helping us to pay for our website and keep the content completely free of charge. We are primarily ads funded and will be remaining so, but increasingly ad revenues are lowering due to various reasons, such as ad blockers, and also now with GDPR, people are able to opt out of cookies altogether, and you can't serve advertisements without cookies, really. So that's the reason that pressures are increasingly on ad revenues, and so this is just another funding option to help us keep all of the content, the videos, written posts, and everything else completely free of charge. And a big thank you to all of the patrons and donors for their donations. Thanks very much for that. It's very hot and sticky afternoon, so a little bit uncertain about what's going on, to be honest, but we'll persevere. So this is the latest observation chart from XC Weather, and you can see it's a very warm afternoon again. We've got temperatures already 27 degrees at Church Lawford. Go down to Cranfield, 27 degrees there. Cambridge is at 27. Southend-on-Sea is at 26. Go down to London, or towards London. Farnborough is at 27. London Heathrow is at 26. So at the moment, we're into the upper 20s Celsius. These temperatures are going to rise further through the course this afternoon. They'll be going into the low 30s Celsius in some places, like central London. That's around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius through the course of this afternoon. It is cooler up across Scotland. Aviemore just at 19 degrees, and Aberdeen is also at 19 or 18 degrees as well. So it's cooler up in the north, but turning increasingly hot down in the south. Thought I'd just throw this in. We have got some tropical developments and disturbances in the Atlantic now. So we've got two areas of interest. We've got an area of thundery activity close to Bermuda, that yellow X just there. And then a more definitive area of storms is this red area down here in the central part of the tropical Atlantic. That's got a 60% chance or more of becoming a tropical storm, a tropical depression in the next few hours. Conditions aren't perfect, though, to get this up to hurricane status, so it probably won't reach a hurricane, but it may well become a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm in the next day or so. The message from this, though, is that things are now beginning to develop in the tropics of the Atlantic Ocean. When this happens, when we start getting these tropical developments, very often model reliability starts to become lower with the model reliability. So if things are going to start ramping up in the Atlantic, in the tropical Atlantic, in terms of storms, maybe hurricanes eventually, then that will lower the model reliability overall. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind as we go into another Atlantic hurricane season. Right, so these are the 500 millibar high anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF here on the top. I've got the GFS, which have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure, up being moved around by jet stream, running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. So we've got this area of above average heights with the ECMWF over the UK and extending to the north as well, below average heights out to the northwest around Greenland and Iceland. That's where the jet stream is. The jet stream's doing something like that. So in the next week to 10 days, we remain firmly under high pressure dominated conditions, and that will bring more hot and dry weather in the next week to 10 days. The GFS is very similar. Again, we can see that big ridge of high pressure extending through the UK and also out into the Atlantic as well. Loads of hot and dry conditions coming up with that. The jet stream is to our north. It's way to our north, actually. And we've also got some low pressure down towards Biscay. That's going to try and bring some thundery weather up from the south. But at the moment, this ridge does look very strong as we go into the 7 to 10 day time frame. It's a ridge that's fighting off the thundery breakdown, and so that's why the thundery breakdown isn't getting any closer to us. Have a look at the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles next. So we're going to look at the ensemble for Kinloss today. That's upon the Murray Firth, of course, in Scotland. So the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Kinloss in Scotland. We're a little bit cooler at the moment. Just the next day or so, it'll be a little bit cooler up across Scotland. Probably, you'd say, more refreshing, really, compared to the heat down south. But by the time you get through to the weekend into next week, temperatures are going above average again, becoming very warm to hot across the country from the weekend and through to next week. It's already turning hot in the south today. Then go through to the second half of the month. This is 15th of July just here, day 10. Beyond that, into the second half of the month. Overall, the temperature ensembles are staying above average. I've got some cooler members beginning to appear. They're in the minority, and of course, this is right at the extended range of the model and its ensemble anyway. So we have to have a big health warning, as I keep saying, about any change to cooler weather, any change to more unsettled conditions. You can see from the precipitation ensemble part of the graph that there's no rainfall really coming up in Kinloss over the next week. Completely dry to around a week's time. Then very gradually as we go into the second half of the month, we do see the rainfall spikes returning, but we've been seeing a lot of this in the models recently and their ensembles. So, as I say, as long as this more unsettled spell is kept at or beyond day 10, then it's never getting any closer to us, and so we have to remain very cautious about it. Eventually, this pattern will break. Eventually, we will go into a more unsettled phase, but until we see this breakdown coming in sort of the 5 to 10 day time frame, then we have to stay very, very cautious around it. As long as it's kept around day 10, I think we know that it's going to just keep getting put back, if you like. So a lot of caution is needed about any change to thundery conditions. Temperature anomalies for the next week coming out significantly hotter than average. How often? I've been saying that just recently. So from the 5th to 13th of July, it's hotter than average for the UK, hotter than average for Ireland, most parts of Europe, coming out hotter than average as well. Look how dry it is, significantly drier than average again for the UK and Ireland for the next week. This going from the 5th through to 13th of July with substantially drier and warmer than average temperature and rainfall anomalies predicted. This is how the GFS is looking for Sunday, with high pressure through the country. Going to be dry, hot and sunny across the country over the weekend and into next week. We just keep this high pressure going. We may start to filter some slightly cooler and fresher air around the top of the high pressure coming in from kind of like a northeasterly type direction. So it may start to cool down a little bit as we go through into the sort of early part of next week. But even so, it remains very dry, high pressure dominating, and it'll still be pretty warm to probably locally hot, even up to the middle of next week. This is Thursday next week, a week's time. High pressure continues to be ridging through the country. That's Friday, the end of next week. So there's the thundery low to our south that wants to push some very hot air, but also some thunderstorms up from the south, still being fended off really by that high pressure up to Friday the 13th. As the upper air temperature, you see it is very hot with that thundery low down across France. Otherwise, temperatures are in the very warm category really for the UK. Now, that's Saturday the 14th, so heading up towards day 10, and we do have a little bit of a thundery development going on here in the south, so the chance of some thunderstorms coming into the south on Saturday. And as we go towards day 10, actually this particular GFS run does start to turn things more unsettled. So this is the chart for day 10, Saturday 15th of July. And just beyond day 10, actually we go into quite an unsettled spell of weather as we go into the extended time frame of this particular GFS run. We find low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, but again this is all at or beyond day 10, and as long as it's not getting any closer, then it remains very, very unreliable. But as I say, this particular GFS run does break down the heat wave, it does break down the prolonged dry spell, and it takes us into quite an unsettled spell of weather into the second half of July. We'll just have to wait and see on that. This is the ECMWF, and it looks like this. High pressure again is pushing through the country during Sunday, and that continues into Monday and the Tuesday as well. Some slightly cooler air coming in from off the North Sea by Tuesday will lower the temperatures, make them more comfortable, because it's going to be really hot over the weekend and on Monday next week as well. Essentially though, the high pressure fest continues. This takes us up to a week's time. Thursday, the 12th of July, continues to see this high pressure bridging through the country, mostly dry, hot and sunny. Then it's the extended time frame with the ECMWF. So that's how we look. It gradually begins to weaken the ridge a little bit. This is day 10, sunny 15th of July. The thundery low is down across France and the Bay of Biscay, so it is threatening, but and pressure is weakening somewhat, so it may allow this thundery low up across the country. But essentially up to day 10, it's still keeping things pretty dry, pretty fine, and either warm or hot. This is the GM as well. High pressure again reaching through the country on Sunday. The high pressure fest continues throughout most of next week. Just keep lots and lots of high pressure going. That's how we finish up at day 10. High pressure is still to the south, low pressure is up to the north, and it just generally looks incredibly dry and fine as we go up towards day 10. This is how the CFS V2 is now forecasting July in terms of the 700 millibar height anomaly. So it has this huge ridge of high pressure over the country, and it's extending into the Atlantic with low pressure and the jet stream up to the north. So it's seeing this high pressure continuing pretty much throughout July. Very strong anticyclonic signal. And that's how August is looking. August is very gradually being moved in towards also a continuation of summer. So high pressure above average heights continue to be over, this time a little bit to the east of the country. Again, you'd have thought the jet stream's going up there. So if this is right, we could keep the heat wave and the prolonged dry spell going into August as well. And if that comes off, this will probably be our driest and hottest summer, overall summer, since 1995. Certainly the driest summer since 1995. I'm not sure about temperature because actually the summer of 2006 was very hot summer, although that did have a rather cooler August. This would be kind of like an extended summer from beginning to end of hot weather, and also incredibly dry. Certainly the driest summer since 1995, if the CFS V2 is right. So if you enjoyed today's video, we've already told you how you can become a patron for GazLovins. You can also make a one-off donation via PayPal. Visit the GazLovins.com paypal.me page. We'll drop the link to both the Patreon and PayPal pages into the description box. YouTube having linked to all of these pages at GazLovins. So just come to our PayPal page, as long as you've got a PayPal account. You can give us a one-off donation. A big thank you to everybody for doing that. And also, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give video a like, a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And that's just about it from me. So it's going to be a very warm, very hot afternoon. Do try and keep cool if you can. Tomorrow, it's JMA Friday, so we'll have a look at the month ahead. That'll take us into, I think it'll take us just into the start of August, actually. So we'll see if there's any sign of a change from this hot and dry weather with the Japanese and CFS V2 models. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.